Welcome to Rainfall with Josh, and say hi, John.
Hello.
This is our weekly series on book topics, the world of storytelling, and everything in between. And this week, we got a juicy one for you. It's digital versus paper, otherwise known as zeros and ones versus biomass for all the nerds out there. I hope you get that. But we're taking sides. That's right. Everybody's talked about this topic, but we're taking sides. It's more of a debate format. I'm taking digital because I have a great testimonial about ebooks. And John is taking...
Yeah, I'm taking paper, and as you can see here, I'm holding up one of my favorite science fiction books, Ilium by Dan Simmons. And it's a hardback edition, obviously printed on paper, lots of paper and dead trees involved with this right here. And Josh, I would just like to I'd like to say this. Enough said. What
John,
are you going to smell? What are you going to smell? Some warm battery and circuitry? You know, I have my pick between new printed book or old, and they smell different.
What did you just do? Did you just like snort a line of... What, John? You can't do that on the air, man. I told you not to do that. Oh,
I sniffed the paper.
Yeah, if you say so, man. Look pretty off. I like you do that a lot. That's all I'm saying. And no, you're right. I can't sniff stuff off my book or sniff my book, whatever you were really doing. And sorry, Johnny, that was a glare on that book you claimed to be Ilium. I'm sorry, I couldn't see it because of the glare. Yeah, look at that, baby. Even in harsh light, bam, small glare, but hey, there you go. 90% glare free.
Yeah, how about that? But yeah, they continue to try to replicate the printed page every year. Oh, it's more paper white than it was before. How about that? Still smells of warm battery and circuitry. You know something, Josh? There's something nostalgic about this. There's nothing nostalgic about an ebook.
Nostalgia, smallja. Because my 10-year-old technology can blow away your 2,000-plus-year-old technology any day. If batteries go dead, then never mind. That's one of your talking points.
Yeah. You know, how did we defeat the Cylons in Battlestar Galactica, Josh? The technology was our weakness. We beat the Cylons with paper and pen, bro.
Did we? I can't remember that.
In my version, we did.
I will give you one good point. I will say that you probably get a good workout with that big old fat volume. But guess what? I got 10,000 of those babies on this little baby right here. That's right. Whole library.
Every time you decide to change the font size, your page count changes. You know it doesn't change? This right here. These words will always be on page 303 right there. Can you see those?
All right.
How about that? And Mr. My books are DRM'd on my e-device. Nice job. You want to take this away from me? You tired of me having the rights to this? You want to come to my house and take my book away?
Who cares about page count? If I am looking for something in this book, for instance, Lord of the Rings, the bad dude is called 10 different names. I can actually look up his name by typing it in and say, oh, that's where they first mentioned his name. Good luck in 3 seconds trying to find out where they first mentioned, whatever his name is. Dark Lord of the...
Sauron, yeah. And you're right. That does seem pretty convenient if I were lazy. But since I'm not, I just remember what I read from this hardback printed on paper book here.
So what about notes? I mean, come on. You can save your notes without killing more trees. You are killing trees with your paper and with your sticky notes and with your bookmarks. I mean, the obscene disregard for the global warming and the world is just like written all over paper. I mean, seriously, dude, why don't you just go to Barnes & Noble and say, hey, thanks for killing the planet.
Yeah. Screw you, Josh. You know what? All my notes are right up here. You might think that I'm killing more trees by writing Post-it notes, but really what I'm doing is creating more brain cells because I'm not writing Post-it notes. I'm just remembering.
So for everybody who didn't get that, he said, I'm not using my brain. He said, I'm putting everything on my digital book. And I would counter with saying that I can have a better book discussion by recalling events instead of flipping through 1,000-page volume or tome and be like, oh no, where did I go?
But Josh, I don't have to upgrade this every 2 or 3 years when they come out with a better device. And what are you going to do? Are you going to pass on your 3rd generation Kindle to your children? I mean, maybe you could pass on books from your library, but what a massive pain. Then they have to sit there on their computer and copy dad's stuff over and then sync it to their device. And, you know, are they even going to let you do that? Will the DRM get that out of control in the future? We don't know, but this will always be on my bookshelf and passed down to my children. How about that?
Yeah, I just got very depressed because I thought I was going to sway you to the dark digital side. And that last comment really kind of hurt, man. I mean, I'm like, I do want my kids to know what I thought was awesome about Ender's Game and all that. But I will bounce back from that harsh comment that went straight for the, right here. But I will say that digital books did get me reading again. So all farce aside, I misspent my youth doing something or another. And plus, I didn't want to be the nerd carrying a book. So now I can just disguise my nerdiness. Whatever reason, this is awesome. And this got me reading again. So you can't argue with that, my friend. You just can't.
I absolutely can, because I'm hoping that I can continue living in a world where my children can end up with crooked spines because they're carrying books this size to school every day. Like 10 of them in their backpack. I hope for that future for my kids. Josh.
Wait, I was paying attention. Hold on. The first rule of paper books is you do not read paper books. The second rule of paper books is I wonder what burnt books smell like.
I know someone like 80 years ago. No, not 80. We'll say 60 or 70. They could tell you exactly what a big pile of burnt books smelled like, Josh, but I won't name any names.
Whoa. Are you calling me a Nazi?
Who? What? What's a Nazi? Hey, you know what? I actually do like ebooks. I have paper and ebooks, but I like reading ebooks on an iPad, I think, a little more than I do on an actual, like an Amazon Kindle or a Barnes & Noble Nook. And the reason is because of the interface, and not because it looks like you're turning a page when you swipe with your finger, but I think I don't know, it's got more of a real book feel. And I think it's just the graphics really than anything else. I have a Kindle and I have read, several books on it, but it's not my favorite for some reason. I do like it on the iPad a little better.
Well, since we're confessing here, I recently read.
I happen to have a bunch of paper books behind me, right behind me on this shelf there that you can all see.
So do I, but I'm just a poser.
Oh, I'm talking about you.
And I really didn't burn Fight Club. I really didn't. I don't think I burned it. Hey, I will tell you that I am so cheap. I will not pay more than $9.99 for an ebook. So I will just go out of my way to bug my librarian and say, is it back yet? Is your single copy of Seven Eves back yet? And I'll whine to you and say, hey, John, I haven't got my library copy yet. So for pragmatic reasons, I will, I'll go cheap. And that's when paper suits me just fine.
Yeah, I would like to think that a book would be a lot cheaper if you're not having to pay the additional money and labor to have it printed off on something like this, right? Just it's done on a computer and it can be distributed. But I don't think while the price may have come down, I don't think the authors are reaping the benefit from the technology. I'm fairly certain the publishing companies are still eating up a lot of that money, which is very unfortunate. But it is good not to kill trees, and I do like ebooks, and that is clearly the way of the future. But for certain books that really spoke to me, and I like a lot of Dan Simmons stuff that we've read, I will go and buy it on hardback, even if I have it on ebook, because I like to see the physical book on my bookshelf. It's a talking point. I do like picking up the book, and if I ever read this again, it'll probably be the hardback book that I read. So there's a bit of nostalgia there. And it's a bit of a showpiece and a talking point that I like to have in the house. So I certainly still see a place for paper books.
Yeah, like when they drop the EMP and all the Kindles go dead. You already made the perfect point. I mean, those suckers last. Those guys are almost nuke proof. well, technically if they're in a bunker, but you know what I'm saying. But as long as you're not like the Eloy, and in the time machine, you're just like frolicking around on the riverfront and playing, and then the guy says, "Hey, what are these?" And they're like, "We don't know." So don't let your paper books rot on the shelf, John. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And
Think about that.
we have left out a third player in this whole controversy. It is a controversy. Who cares who gets paid what, when, where, how, and why? I just want to hear some good voice acting. That's right. There's a whole nother cottage industry for audiobooks. And you know as well as I do, some of those suckers are pretty darn good.
Actually, they are very good because it's almost like you're getting some radio theater level voice work when you listen to it. And I do like audiobooks, and I promote them as much as I can, because if I'm not at home and I can't read the physical copy, I have a long drive to work every day. And I listen to the audiobooks in the car.
Well, I've got to tell you, I've done the audiobooks because I'm intellectually lazy and I will not read Moby Dick. I love Herman Melville's Moby Dick, but I would have never, ever read it. And the narration off LibriVox, because it's public domain free, was absolutely stunning. I was in the car listening to it, and I thought I was going to drive off the road because I was like so mesmerized at like the detail. I'm a whaler. I'm with Captain Ahab. And my other favorite pick, those are just two nostalgic points, was when I listened with the kids to Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events. Book 2 is called The Reptile Room. Very sad and tragic. I mean, these kid books are crazy, but they got some pretty gut-wrenching moments. And they have this beautiful little song, which I'm tone deaf, and I won't sit here and, try to make you go shrieking out of the room, but there's a little melody about the reptile room. And I was like, that is the best part of the book. And I remember the narration and the ending and then that song, and it was just this mesmerizing experience.
One of my favorite audiobooks of all the stuff that we've read so far on our project is Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. The voice work for those books is outstanding. They picked the right people to read for that. And also, I'm starting to see books that are written specifically for audiobook now. Metatropolis is one you can find if you go to Audible. I do my subscription with Audible. That's where I get my audiobooks. I don't know where else Metatropolis is. I don't know if that was an Audible specific project, but that is a great series. And I think it's still ongoing, but made specifically for audiobook. And that's a really cool, what am I trying to say here, avenue to explore.
Hey dude, can you rip me, the audio from your audiobooks?
No, that would be illegal, Josh. And I pay for all my audiobooks and my paper books.
I think we settled the debate. I think. Well, we want to know what you think. We want your opinion, everybody. And if you give us a really good opinion, we'll give you our first edition of Fight Club. That's what we settled on. Before the show, we were going to say, hey, let's rock with old school Kindle, with keyboard. Johnny was not willing to part with his Ilium hardback cover thingy for some weird reason.
Frankly, if you think I'm giving this to you, you can smell my Ilium. So,
but seriously, yeah, if you want to do that, go get your own Ilium. But if we will submit you for a drawing for Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. And if you subscribe to the channel and if you leave a comment in the comment section, you'll be entered in the drawing. And the drawing will go on for as long as we want it to. No, just kidding. We'll figure out a time to be determined and put it in the comments. But thanks for joining us on this REIGNfall weekly talk series where we talk about book and whatever else is on our mind, mainly books. But check us out on rainbooks.com, as in the rule of books, not the weather.